Creating your own business takes time, passion, and hard work. It takes commitment and perseverance in the face of challenges. As an entrepreneur, I look for value. How to get more for less. That is what Vodafone Too Much Business gives. Too much data, minutes for calls, SMS bundles, and my favorite part is too much flexibility to customize your mobile plan.
Get more value for your business. Sign on to Vodafone Too Much Business, a cost-efficient mobile offer that allows you to choose and customize how much data, voice or SMS allocations your business needs. Send start to 050-777-9000 or email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com.
Whatever your business needs are, Vodafone Too Much Business has a solution for you.
Welcome back. So tonight my guest is Samuel Dubik Mahama, who is the Managing Director for the ECG. Took over on May 16, 2022. This is the first time we're having on a point of view. Welcome to, so we congratulate you on your new appointment, on your old new appointment. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I could be better. I could be better. I
can imagine.
I could be better.
It's been a busy week. You guys are collecting, you want to collect 5 billion.
5.7 billion.
Charlie, you're wild though.
The money is out there.
5.7
That's almost
billion.
500 million US dollars.
And you want to collect that in a month?
It's not that I want to collect that. That is what we are owed out there since I think August last year.
Wow.
So the whole aim is why are we not collecting?
Yeah.
And why this huge gap? And we have to close it as quickly as possible.
So 5.7 billion cedis.
Yes.
And this is what you are owed. And this debt is dating back to how long?
Dating back to last year, August, late August last year.
Oh, wow. That's very recent.
Yes.
Now, the reason I'm shocked is that there was a story Finder did in 2022.
Yeah.
Just when you took over, where they said ECG had recorded 13 billion cedis in losses in 5 years.
Yes.
Right? So this is 5 years accumulated losses,
Yeah.
and you are collecting probably 40% of that. You want to collect that
So
in?
with the Finder's thing, it has forex losses in there.
Yes,
It's
they
not
book
just
technical, commercial, all those things.
And then because don't forget, we buy the power in US dollars, we sell it in Ghana cedis.
Oh.
So there's
God.
with that one there's a loss
All
from
right.
from the get go.
Okay.
And PRC normally doesn't use realistic forex because it has to cushion the customer.
Yeah.
So all of those things lead to the constant loss that ECG has to record on his books.
I see. So let's go through that. So in the report, they said that 13.5 billion, 13.1 billion, they broke it down into technical losses, commercial losses, and then they also brought something they call collection losses.
Yeah.
So what's the technical loss then?
A technical loss is, let's say, within our network, we call them distribution losses.
Okay.
Illegal connections will be the easiest example.
Okay.
So you are transmitting the power from point A to point B. You know it's 10 kilowatt hours. Then you're only receiving money for about, let's say, 4 or 5. That's a technical loss. Now, a commercial or administrative loss is issues that internally stifle the process. So people have collected money that's supposed to come to the company. It never comes through. Bonded cashiers going missing with company funds. Checks that have been paid that bounce. All of those things come together to become what do you call it? Commercial.
So is collection loss under commercial or is separate?
It's separate. Collection loss is what we are trying to solve now.
Wow. So is the forex loss a commercial or collection?
The forex loss will be in total, because at the end of the day, if the policy, or let's say the forex rate at the beginning of, or let's say right now, PURC forex rate is not commensurate with the interbank rate or BOG rate.
In fact, the interbank rate is not even commensurate with the real rate in the market. So if the real rate is 12.5, the BOG may be saying 11.2.
Exactly.
And then you see PRC will also be lower than that 11.2.
Exactly. So with that one, let's all agree that off the bat, there's going to be something like that.
But if the power is produced in Ghana, why is it sold to you in dollars?
It's because of how the power purchase agreements were signed. The power purchase agreements were signed in US dollars.
Even though they are using fuel, some of them are using fuel from Ghana.
Yes, but even the fuel from Ghana, we price it in dollars.
Does
the gas that we buy is bought in US dollars.
But in terms of the mix, does that include power from Akosombo?
Yes.
I can understand if you buy fuel from a power plant.
Yeah.
Because the gas is from West Africa Gas Pipeline.
Yeah.
Or even from Atuabu.
Yeah.
Because gas is an international product. But Akosombo was built by Kwame Nkrumah. It's our own system. So why are they charging you in dollars for that too?
But of course, the power plant is a power plant.
Yeah.
It's supposed to make money.
But it's made. So why isn't Cedis money?
So why don't you go? No, Cedis is money.
Yeah.
So you have to look at the historical effects of Ghana. When the power plant Akosombo was set up, what was the thinking of the nation? Its capacity was so huge that there was so much excess power. What then did they think? They were thinking that Akosombo should serve the whole of what? West Africa and all of that. So with even VRA, they don't have to declare full what they have in capacity wise for the local market, because there's an international market to also satisfy. So there's also those dynamics that you have to take into consideration.
I see. Well, the BOG says we should price things in cedis. So I was hoping they will say to VRA that if you produce power from Akosombo, sell it in cedis. There's a directive that is.
But we pay it in cedis, but you can pay in cedis. But at the end of the day, it's the forex rate that is used to charge at the time you are paying in cedis is what is causing the loss.
But does that not falsely present your position? Because I understand technical loss, I understand some of the, but if you buy power from VRA, and at the time you bought the power, the CD was 8, and now you're supposed to pay the CD is 12. That's nothing to do with you.
It has nothing to do with, but let's not be unfair to VRA in this matter.
Okay.
I'll say unfair because when we go to the table to discuss tariffs, they come there with CDs. They don't come there with dollars. And when we are paying them, we don't have those kind of conversations. Honestly, they never come back to us with those kind of conversations. But the independent power producers are the ones that we have those conversations with. You understand? Where forex is this and this is that. So because of that, there's this gap that has to be closed. Those are the main ones that we have those conversations with.
Before we come to collection, which is the main focus for the conversation today, I just wanted something. Looking from 2017 to 2021, I noticed that in the so-called system loss, the commercial is always higher than the technical. Is there a reason for that?
Commercial, yes, there would be.
So it means that the finance function is more under pressure than the engineering function.
Yes, it's true.
That's
it's true. But at every material moment, you see the power.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget, electricity is like water. If it is flowing and you don't bottle it like this to sell it one by one, how would you count it?
So it will just be wasted.
That's the thing.
So your ability to capture that power in the price that you collect is the issue.
Exactly. And which is why with such a system that we have to digitalize from end to end.
The World Bank's benchmark for technical losses is 7.44%.
Yeah.
Based on what they call all the benchmarks of the World Bank, ECG has not met it.
No.
That's atrocious.
But right now we are trying,
okay.
But PURC also has its benchmarks for us based on how our efforts are going. So for now, our main aim is to try to achieve the PURC benchmarks and then move forward. You see, when these international bodies talk about approved losses, there is no foolproof system. But when you digitalize, there's a portion of your revenue that, let's say if you want private sector participation, that is how private sector gets paid. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
Let's say you don't want to have meter readers in your system, and I want you to read meters for me in, let's say, the whole of Teshi. It's a commercial loss. It should come from your total revenue to pay that company off, which will be shared by the whole food chain. That's and also in the case of Ghana, like let's say third-party vendors, commissions, and all of that, they are part of commercial losses.
Wonderful. So you are trying to digitalize the system?
Yes.
You took over in May 2022.
Yeah.
What kind of company did you take over? When you analyze because I've just read for you 2017, 2021, 13 billion in losses. All the major benchmarks are not being met. Just describe for me the problem you faced when you took over.
You know, I was on the board for a couple of months before I was appointed MD.
Okay.
One of the things that jumped at me was the stagnant revenue of the company. And in my opinion, I liken electricity to, excuse my French and my I liken electricity to like the sale of drugs. Well, how many drug dealers sell drugs and make a loss?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Because the truth of the matter is this. I liken it to drugs because we are all used to electricity. The average person who lives in Northeast region close to my village, Jimbali, who doesn't have electricity, is not shouting because he doesn't have electricity. But the moment you taste it and it goes off, you become like a junkie.
So we get addicted to it.
Exactly.
All right.
So this addiction, even when it's raining and it's so cold, what do people do? They still turn on AC. So with all of these trends going on, why should a company like ECG's revenue plateau? That was the biggest question we all kept on asking ourselves. Then when you delve in, you realize that, a process was started, wasn't completed, so it's left to some gaps. This was started, not completed, gaps. Then you go, okay, if that's the case, let's have one holistic pipeline. You know? And in setting up the holistic pipeline, it's not going to be easy because people have their own ways of doing things for years now. And you want to reshape, retool, and reorganize. You have a lot of pushback. But to speak the truth, we've come far. We are at a point where now, by just the push of the button in my office, I know what's happening.
Really?
I can tell you what's happening in a district. I can tell you what ECG's total revenue in a day is.
Serious?
Yeah.
So you have a dashboard.
I have a dashboard.
Every district, every day.
Every district, every region, every second.
Every second.
Yeah,
so it's like the way we monitor our website traffic.
Yep.
That's how you are monitoring your.
Yep.
So you can, if somebody calls and says there's a power outage, you will know if it's true.
We have the OMS outage management system.
Wow.
That it hasn't been fully installed yet. They are still going through a few more phases, but by the time, hopefully before the end of the year, we should be done with that, and we will be able to know when you have an outage. It will speak to us, and we can capture all of these.
Which
things.
means you can also know districts that are not paying.
Yes.
Is this for both pre and post paid?
Yes, this is for both pre and post.
Really?
Yeah. That is what has led to where we are today, because there's a trend analysis now.
Okay.
I'm seeing our performing group and our non-performing group.
Wow.
And that's what has led us to go on this journey.
It would be nice to see what you have there, but we're
I'll
talking
show it to you.
we're talking to Mr. Dubik Mahama, who's I don't want to call him the new because he's been there for a while, but this is probably our first engagement with him, so he's new in that sense. And he seems pretty confident that he can raise the revenue issue. Apparently, the collection loss is the part he wants to tackle first. So we've learned system loss, which is technical and commercial, and then there's also collection loss, which is really shortfall of receivables. He's basically saying he wants to collect debt owed the company since August last year to the tune of 5 billion cedis in a month, and is determined to collect that. So let's delve into the system that you want to use. So this week you've been announcing, it's almost like you are telling everybody that if you haven't paid,
Pay.
Is this for just postpaid or for that? Will this affect prepaid?
So let me give you an example.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be both, because during the exercise, they'll be looking out for those who are using prepaid that have illegal connections.
Okay.
But they have tried to reduce the load that goes through the meter. It has come to acknowledge that some people, when even they were about to build their house, they thought about bypass.
Before they even build the house?
Yeah, so they bypass through the wall, so it's not visible for you to see.
Where bypass means what?
So he has half of his load that will come through the meter, and the other half
straight to the mains.
Straight to the mains.
Are you able to check that?
So yes, we are going to be able to check that by the end of the year. So with them, all I say to them is, my people will find you now. They will force you to correct, but correct it before the end of the year. Because by the end of the year, the contracts have already been given out. We are going to meter every single distribution transformer meter. Every single distribution transformer is going to be metered.
Wow.
Now, we know the number of homes or the number of facilities that are attached to this distribution transformer. So the transformer tells me it sent X amount of kilowatt hours into this area. And your meter is not telling me there's a shortfall. I need to visit each and every home.
And then you average.
And we'll average.
But that's a lot of work. So let's say you're in Tesano.
Yeah.
There are about 20 houses in this community. There's a transformer here.
Yeah.
And then you say 1,000 kilowatts. Meanwhile, when you add, it's only 800. How will you know who is stealing the 200?
So with that one, you now, since it's just 20 homes,
Yes.
you can now put manpower
to then go from house to house.
to then go from house to house. Let's not forget, you know, in Ivory Coast, it's a criminal offense. You are jailed.
The state will prosecute
Or
you.
they will prosecute you. In Ghana, see, we haven't taken certain things so seriously, but believe you me, with this exercise, the utility court has been set up.
Hey, like motor court.
Yes,
Utility court.
and Senate court. The utility court is Saturday court.
Wow.
Trust me. It's not, I'm not going to look at it at illegal connection in terms, or illegal bypass in terms of what PURC says. In my candid opinion, that's stealing. You never had an intention to pay for that power.
So are you saying there's a special judicial team?
No, this court has been in existence for years, but
Really?
it hasn't been utilized.
Why?
But we are bringing it back.
So there's going to be a utility court where there are specialized judges who understand these things.
Yep.
And they are going to jail people for stealing power.
Yep.
Wow. Let's talk about.
You see, I like how you put it, stealing power.
Yeah, but
when
that's
you
what
say
it is.
illegal connection,
Yeah,
what do you mean by that?
they are stealing power.
They are stealing.
Yeah, I want to just clarify something. So this exercise is for both prepaid and postpaid. You
Yeah.
explain the prepaid one where they buy, but postpaid is pretty easy, right?
Postpaid is pretty easy.
Yeah.
In the case of, let's say, SLT customers,
What's SLT?
those are special load tariff industries.
Okay, mining companies,
Yes.
big factories.
As part of your budget for the year is a line item that says what? Electricity.
Yeah,
So what's your reason for not paying?
economy.
How can the economy be a reason?
We are
What
not-
about us?
We are not selling.
What about us?
We are broke.
What about us?
I
What
know.
about the company that is actually buying and giving you something to at least be paying something on account? Let us be seeing something to let us also look viable.
So this exercise, if my head of finance calls and says, okay, we owe 20,000, we want to do 5,000 a month.
I'll do.
Mumfanche.
How do?
Payment terms.
But you have a prepaid meter in your home.
Oh yes.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm not here. We have prepaid here.
Oh, no, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, we don't owe.
But wait.
Here they we don't owe class. We don't even go
Okay,
there.
no, I don't even want to talk about here.
Uh-huh.
You have a prepaid meter
Yes,
at home.
yes.
You prepay what you use.
Yes.
If he says that, is he being fair to you?
Well, but postpaid is, I
But
think.
there are some residential customers too that are postpaid. Don't get me wrong.
But quick question though, in 100% of residential customers, what percent is post, what percent is pre? Do you know?
Yeah. So I can tell you, out of 2.5 million postpaid customers, 5,000 of them are SLT customers.
The big ones.
Yeah. Under the SLT, we have 1,004 of them that we know them as SLT, and the rest we see them as mini SLTs.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the rest are all what? Residential customers.
Good.
The bulk of the millions are residential customers. And let's not forget, these SLT customers constitute 40% of ECG's revenue.
Wow. Do they use 40% of your power?
They use 40% of our power, so they constitute 40%.
No, I want to dispute that, because for a long time you've been charging commercial users more than you charge domestic users. So I put it to you that this 40% of your revenue is probably 30% of the power or less, because one of the major challenges, indeed, I was on a panel with what do you call it, AGI, PRC was there. Sechu Makwaba puts it to Ishmael Aka that you've been charging Ghanaian factories more than you charge Ghanaian homes in
that
terms
is
of.
true, but that's a PRC problem. It's not an ECG problem.
Yeah, but so I'm saying that if you say
So industry is what has been carrying.
yeah, but why should they pay more for using power for productive purposes?
But that's the truth. That's something that has to be looked at. I am with him on that one.
Okay.
I am not going to dispute that. I am with him on that one. Because people have even found a way to have mini factories in their home on residential tariffs.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So for me, I think the minister came up with some very interesting guidelines as to how he feels tariffs should go. And I think it's worth looking at them.
Okay.
Including even, at some point, even with the power purchasing that we're talking about. He now wants us to do our best to get new power purchase agreements in cities.
Okay.
In as much as it's going to be difficult because the source of funding for these kind of EPC projects are always these foreign banks and in US dollars. That's going to be a major challenge, but we'll try and do our best to that effect. But I think PRC we should take a look at it and as a nation, see what we can do about that.
To be fair to the PRC, I think in their latest announcement, there was an attempt to correct that anomaly. We don't necessarily agree with the 30% increment, but when I look at the tariff structure, it seemed as if they were sort of lowering the weighting for commercial users and trying to balance out for domestic users. Well, on the point of view, we're speaking to Samuel Dubik Mahama. He appears very confident. He says he'll collect all his 5 billion in 1 month.
With your help.
And if you don't pay, he will catch you. There's a full, they call it utility court. We're trying to understand the whole structure of the utilities. We'll talk a bit about some debt issues. We understand they owed WIPA quite a lot of money at some point, and some other issues that will come up. Stay with us.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Africana City is building bamboo bicycles to help children get to school.
Welcome back to The Point of View. Tonight, we're spending time with the nation's main power utility, the ECG. As we know, there are IPPs and there's VRA. They produce power, which typically they will transmit through Gridco, and then Gridco will then pass it through ECG, the main power distributor. So they interface with the public. ECG has since Monday, giddy, they are collecting their money, 20th March to 20th April. They said if you owe them, pay. Otherwise, they will disgrace you. Now, I wanted to come back to you on a couple of things. The Auditor General report indicted ECG for breaching the public procurement law, and I'm sure you've seen this. I think it's the 2021 version, where they said that up to 221 million cedis worth of contracts were given without PPA approval. Now, this is prior to your coming, but you're on the board.
Did they list which products? Which contracts?
I would have been happy. I don't have the full report. I have the summary.
Because you know.
But you know about this.
I know about this.
So you shouldn't be asking me that.
But I'm asking because, let's say, for example, if it has to do with random stuff that do not fall within. But you know what? Before we even go there, there's been this conversation about ECG being a covered entity and not a covered entity. There's been reports as to and write-ups that says ECG doesn't have to go to PPA for approval. Some also say ECG has to go to PPA for approval. For example, a line falls down now. Customer wants power. We need to purchase stuff. What do I do? Do I approve for purchasing to restore power in the next 1 hour, or I now need to wait and go for PPA approval? What do I do?
Well, you are a lawyer. Me, I just have Section 40 of the Section 40 of the PPA Act. Section 40 of the PPA Act requires procurement entities, which I believe you are one, to obtain approval of the PPA when it becomes necessary to apply direct sourcing for goods and services.
Wait, procurement entities, does it include limited liability companies that belong to the state?
I'm not sure why you're asking me this question.
Because
procurement
it's
entity
a debate that it hasn't got an end yet. So I don't want to wade into.
But whilst the debate is going on, why don't we just do what the law says?
But in trying to do what the law says, I'm telling you the truth. I will fall foul moving forward, left, right, center.
They reviewed 85 orders.
So what we have tried to do is
okay, sorry, you asked me a question. I have it here now. So Auditor General reviewed 85 foreign and local orders of goods, noted a total amount of 220 million cedis of the worth of contracts. Now, some of the procurements. Now, some of the items procured using single source, 33 kV polymeric pin insulator lightning arresters, plastic cable cover tiles, 11 kV polymeric pin insulators, HRC fuses, security plastic seals, poly-mounted transformers, 11 kV lighting arresters, 11 kV dropout fuse gear, a lot of things, silicon galvanized angle cross mass among others, and then stay equipment, D-ion, handheld GPS. We don't know the extent of what this is, but it seems as if that's your practice.
Let me explain something to you. These are things that are not manufactured in Ghana. 2, ECG practices what you call engineer's pricing. ECG has developed its own procurement manual because it has been working over time, has certain specific people it deals with. You understand? ECG has sent, to the best of my knowledge, even through the Minister for Public Sector, Mr. Joseph Kujo, we've sent our procurement manual and everything to PPA. In my humble opinion, by doing that, I believe the PPA is on notice. Because now, for example, if you don't have cable cover tiles in stock after working, you're going to leave a live wire.
You are using the emergency and but are you saying that all the things I've listed here are things that you needed to get, otherwise somebody would die or something?
So nobody would die, but service will be truncated. That's what I'm saying. For example, you go out there to work, you talked about insulators. You must have enough in stock at every given moment. Because the rate at which transformers get overloaded, when you have to work on them, what do you need? There are certain key component things that you need across your network. I think we are even digressing from the conversation.
No, I'm not. Actually, because a company that is bleeding financially, I understand the exigency argument you are making, but there's also value for money, all right? And your procurement manual may have to be relooked at.
It has been. I'm telling
and
you that
still enjoys and allows you that space.
The new procurement manual that has been sent allows for that space because of how the system called ECG.
Does it list the specific items that should go under this regime?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And also under that, what it does is this. It points out by engineering pricing.
Okay.
You understand? We go through a rigorous system to know the price that we will pay for something. We don't care what your price is. We are going by this price. So if you won't do the business, step aside and let's find somebody who will do the business at X price. I don't know if you get my point.
I'm not, it's not about me, but I just feel like, initially when I read the report, management of ECG, I think this was before you, they actually responded that though they have noted the recommendation and when required, they will seek the approval.
I'm heading.
It's like, we are to. So it's, and for me, if you are coming to the public to say, look, there are a lot of people who feel that you are passing on your inefficiency to us in the tariff increases, which were announced. There's a general feeling that a company that makes 13 billion in losses in 5 years of different kinds should not be increasing tariffs as often as they do. So if there's a conversation about the way you use the money you get, you are here on the TV because the public, you need to get the public buy-in to do what you do. So you also must be clean in the eyes of the public.
So let me correct something. You can go and check the new tariff regime. ECG only got whatever ECG asked for in increment. ECG didn't get it. ECG got just 1% at the last.
The 29% is 1%.
ECG out of it.
So you wanted 209. You want how much?
No, pause.
Hey.
You see, when you're talking about tariff, there's a breakdown.
Okay.
There's generation cost. There's transmission service charge 1. There's generation cost 1 at the top. There's transmission service charge 1, transmission service charge 2.
Okay.
Distribution service charge 1, distribution service charge 2. Okay?
Following.
Distribution service charge 1 and 2 is supposed to come to the distributor, which is ECG. Transmission service charge 1 and 2 is supposed to go to who? Gridco, the transmitter. And the generation charge goes to the IPPs. Okay? Now, even so, under the cash waterfall mechanism, all the money is put into one basket and divided under a percentage formula. Do you get what I mean?
Yes, I'm following.
So, in effect, if out of all of this, ECG is entitled, I think, 26%. If ECG is getting 26%, and ECG is not able to build itself out of the 26%, because after you pay salaries, you pay everything, you are left with just 15 million Ghana cedis. If you owe a meter company $30 million and you are giving him 2 million cedis, if you were them, would you supply any meters? You understand?
I follow.
So the time has come where there must be a holistic approach to the problems of the energy sector. So my brother, this is the point where we need to keep politics.
But you're not dismissing the finding. You're basically saying let's have a conversation about what works.
Yes,
I agree with you.
Because this is me coming in now. This has been going on for years. Okay? It's not giving us what we are looking for. If we are going to go to point B, what are we going to do?
Fair enough.
Are we just going to... We cannot just adopt for what it's worth. You understand? Let's look at what we've been doing. Let's find out what the loopholes are, and let's plug them.
There's a report that you owed, I think it was 600 million to Bui Power Authority. I'm not sure of the figure, but you do owe quite a number of your
independent power producers. Yes, we do.
So, I'm a bit confused because you are here saying people should owe you. You are collecting your money, but you owe somebody 600 million.
I collect the money. That's how I pay them.
But how did you accumulate so much debt? We we is a national institution.
Yes,
600 million cedis.
But you see, the thing is, when you produce, you are paid. So if you are not collecting efficiently, you don't give the person his requisite, what you call it, money.
Okay.
So that is where the gap is. So the conversation about collection and beefing it up is much more critical today than it was yesterday. Because the gap that it's creating now is not a funny gap anymore. So we need to push hard and push this drive to close the gap as quickly as possible.
So
let's not forget, it's not bad to owe people. It's about the cash flow. But when you have some amount of cash flow that the person can have their operational expenses and all of that covered, there's not much of a pushback. But in this instance, I can understand them. It's not coming through.
So when I listened to the energy minister recently on his views about the power sector generally, he spoke a bit about the take or pay, where he wants us to move to take and pay. So I understand that there are a lot of structural issues you've inherited, which have to be done to make ECG a better company. But then he also, I'm not sure if the cash waterfall mechanism works for you, or whether you feel that can be, because for me, if ECG, if money comes, yours must be given to you directly.
Yeah.
Is this something you're going to push within the sector to, because there's also this whole conversation about our utilities being inefficient.
Yeah.
Isn't the cash waterfall mechanism hiding who is really doing well?
Wow, you know what? It's not a perfect system.
Okay.
But we are trying to work with it to make it a better system. Okay. So I would say, instead of me sitting here criticizing it, I would rather, again, we take a holistic approach, because all of this has become necessary because what? Collections or revenue is bad. Believe you me, if every independent power producer was getting up by 100 million Ghana cedis monthly from ECG, we will not be having this conversation. You understand?
Okay.
And that is where I want to try, with the help of ECG staff, who have bought into the idea. That's where we, as a team, want to drive this company to.
Let's talk about meters, because you keep making it seem as if this whole debt is because people are not paying. But I was in this country where almost every week on my radio show, people were talking about meters not functioning. People want power they can't get. In fact, last 2 weeks, somebody was calling desperately Wager after Kasua area. They were standing there, the thing wasn't working. 2 issues. You have different types of meters. I've gone to buildings where one people, they use the card, another people, they use the app, another group, you stand outside and point, and I'm told they are over 20 or whatever. I mean, how does that even make sense?
You see, if you watch the trend, at every material moment, everybody is trying to look for the best and efficient meter for ECG.
Is that not a procurement matter? Obiako find a deal about with some of the meters not even making sense. It's not about.
I choose not to comment about
no,
that.
Because some people
but to say, for me, I haven't purchased any different meter brand.
You haven't come to add to the problem.
I have decided that yes, there is a shortage, but how many meter manufacturing companies are in Ghana? 6. They have, some people say assembling plants, some people say manufacturing. To me, it's the same, because nobody manufactures fully. People bring components all around. Even with the new cars, they've written on it manufactured in Ghana and also. So for me, these 6 companies are the only companies that we look at.
Okay.
These companies are going to give us these meters with service level agreements, help us meter, and then we pay them. And then we pay them from our marginal revenue with increments. You understand what I mean?
But would there be an attempt to, I don't know what the word is, rationalize, to harmonize? Because if you have...
It has been done.
So
all the meters. That's what we call, that was given to us by MIDA, the MMS system, meter management system.
Maybe I'm not so, but the meters are still different.
They are still different.
Because I have meters where you have to go. So for example, I want to buy power. Where I live, the house that I own, I buy with the app.
Yeah.
So if my light goes off at 1 a.m., I have power.
Yeah.
Where I work, if you don't go and stand with a card, you can go. The woman said, "No, like, so, why should I be looking for power at 1 a.m.
and not being able to?
Master.
Hopefully in the next month or two, with my digital process, that will be a story of the past. Because of the NFC in the back of your phone, when the SDKs and the APIs are done, you'll be able to touch your card to the back of your phone and vend from the comfort of your
even
bedroom.
with already existing meters, I need to use the touch.
Yes.
When I install the NFC, near field communication on my phone,
you should be able to use the card to purchase from the comfort of your home.
You are promising that by end of 2023. So there'll be no need to queue?
There'll be no need to queue.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
For all meter types?
If your meter is the one that has to go directly on the app, go directly on the app and purchase. Have you tried the new?
No, the one that I have, you go on the app, you put your meter number there, and then you use Momo to pay, and then it reflects on your system.
That's it. So
but that was for only a few. They are not many.
Yeah. So I'm trying to migrate a lot of the already existing meters into.
So those who have the card can use the NFC, put the card on their phone,
and purchase. So very soon there will be a proper launch when we are done with all of this. We are going to be customer driven. Now even postpaid customers can sit in the comfort of their homes and pay their bills from the app.
Wow. No, I promise you. No. So end of year, December, I will call you back. Today is March, eh? Okay. We are good at those things.
I know.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll deal with a few other issues. Samuel Dubik is saying that by end of the year, by means of technology, if you need power at 2 a.m., you get it. You don't need to go and queue and be waiting for the person to open the shop. That's one of the main challenges with the ECG. We'll come back and look at the revenue mobilization they're doing as well. And if there are any other issues we need to hear of, this is the point of view. Stay with us.
Pepsodent introduces charcoal and lemon essence. The unique combination of natural essences whitens teeth naturally for you and family because every smile matters. New Pepsodent Herbal. Introducing a unique combination of herbal extracts in an antibacterial toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums that protects your family and you. Every smile matters.
Finally, anyone can become a house owner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Flip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand a chance of winning a house or cash or consolidated prizes, such as savings towards a house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.yugoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. Flip it or own it. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Come back to the point of view. Tonight we're speaking to Samuel Dubik Mahama, originally a lawyer, and quite impressive because you would have thought that this position you either have to be an engineer or a finance guy, but he seems to be acquitting himself pretty well. And he is saying that by means of technology they will reduce losses drastically, and he has a dashboard that lets him know precisely how much power is being used. So he's basically going to reduce at least collection losses to its barest minimum. And he's made a promise that by end of year, this inconvenience of queuing for power, particularly when there's no power, when your light goes off, using technology to deal with all of that. The figure was 21 meter types. And for you see, again, I'm not a lawyer, but if you are coming to the public to say, oh, we want to, how does a serious organization have 21 different types of meters for Ghanaians? And you know that in Ghana, level of education may not be the highest. So you're already confusing the system. And then add to that, you are not selling the power at maybe, you are not using like certified filling stations or something. Some kiosk in Teshi, some, you know, with no standard. So sometimes you go, the girl is eating wache. She looks at your face. Say me, ba mapon.
Or the third party vendors.
My brother, I'm buying a product from you to work. How do you, this is crazy.
They actually have a big problem with me even as you speak, but that problem will be solved. They said we moved their quota purchases from what do you call it, from 5,000 to 20,000.
What does that mean?
So it means that they have to spend more in purchasing of quota for sale. So it's too much.
So it means you are trying to raise the level of the units. So they are bigger businesses with more serious.
Exactly.
But they don't see it that way.
They don't see it that way. They want. But you see, what even necessitated that is when you have a network and you keep having people frequenting the network, it doesn't give other customers the best of experience. Now with the quota purchase, you are supposed to be a bulk purchaser. 5,000 is your consumption here, this building.
And you are selling that in your home.
Yeah. So he comes into the system, hits the system at 6 a.m. at 5,000. Is hitting the system again in the next hour and a half. After another hour and a half, he's hitting again. He keeps hitting till about 8 p.m. So you'd have hit the system more than 10, 15 times.
He doesn't have enough capacity to sell.
So what we are saying is, yes, it will affect others, but start now. We will think about a process of how to contain those down there along the line, hopefully by the end of the month, where we can have, let's say, super vendors who can purchase in excess of some amount, because I cannot say 20,000 at 2.5% commission, then 10 million also at 2.5. It's not fair. Time value of money. You understand? So these are some of the new business models that we want to bring in.
Do you have the support of the PURC and also the ministry? Because in Ghana, a lot of these things are political, that you may be trying to solve a problem, but as soon as there's a pushback, so like road tolls, all vendors of ECG may decide that they are going on strike because they say the new MD is trying to take them out of business because it's bringing technology. So that then depends on whether the appointing authority has bought into the vision. We are next to an election year.
I must say I have the 100% support of the ministry in this journey.
Okay.
Nobody will take away the business of third-party vendors, because believe you me, my father up till today still writes on a piece of paper, even though he has a computer sitting in front of him. There are some people that are used to certain things and they do not want to change.
Okay.
We still need the third-party vendors to take care of those people. That's why I said there's going to be a super vendor who prepays the company what we need and then deals with them on a different network.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be hitting the ECG network every minute, every second to cause all of these customer bad experiences. Do you get what I mean? There should be a structure to benefit people. Even when we start these new things where you can buy with the card, you'll be surprised that people still come to the ECG office saying that the third-party vendors have done something to their system, so they don't get the stipulated amount. So ECG is the only place that they should buy from. So you see, there's what do you call it? There's speculation. There's all of these things in how we do business in Ghana.
Okay.
So no matter what, there's going to be a different category at every point in time that needs to be taken care of.
Are you going to assure us that with your tenure we are not going to get another set of meters? Because that seems to be the practice where almost every 4 years we get new meter names and new meter types.
So the truth of the matter is this: thanks to MIDA and Millennium Challenge, the meter system has been rationalized.
Okay.
They now have something called the MMS, meter management system.
Good.
If for some reason these 6 companies are not performing and somebody wants to come in, the first criteria is you need to have a factory here. Because when the meters are failing, we need to see you. There has to be a service level agreement for the replacement of those meters, so we need to see you. Secondly, the meters have now been rationalized because of MMS. Okay. So the MMS specifications are there. Nobody can change them. So if your meter cannot, and the MMS allows you to have real-time visibility of the meter in your home. So if you tamper with the meter, we see it in the comfort of our.
Okay.
Those are the meters we used in Krobo for our little issue that we had there. That thanks to all of them and our understanding, we've come a very long way. We are almost done. So when you tamper with the meter, we have the geolocation and all of that, customer name. We know exactly what's happening, and we can come and tackle.
Let's come back to the reason why I called you here. You want to collect 5.7 billion in 1 month. What percentage of this is SOEs? Because we've heard that a lot of the people who actually owe you are not people like me or this company. They are government agencies.
For the first time, if you want to put it that way, then let me say for the first time, this time around, we don't have a problem with government agencies.
Really? Can you give me a breakdown of the 5.7 billion between public and private?
Public.
Yes.
Now, there'll be about 2 or 3 very major ones there because of how they do their business. I want to give them courtesy. That's why I don't want to mention the name.
I just want the percentage.
Off record, I can tell you, but percentage-wise, government in all of this,
which is SOEs
and all of that,
including companies that are limited liability but government owned.
Right now, it will be about 15%.
1.5. Volume or value?
Volume.
I'm talking about the 5 billion, the amount of money owed.
Yeah.
The value.
Yeah.
If you say volume, that's power.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm talking about value.
If it's power, it's the same as
really?
What do you call it?
So
if you say
only 15% of this 5 billion is state. Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see. Now, is it true that you disconnected the energy ministry?
This issue came up. I feel I've addressed it enough.
Just last time.
So in all fairness, I don't want the import of our conversation on the 5.7 billion to get lost. Because the tendency for people to talk or divert the whole conversation, whatever.
You know why it's symbolic? You know why it's symbolic? The reason why government owing is symbolic is that leadership by example. So if state agencies owe you more, then what are you telling the private sector? Then in another sense, if the energy ministry owes, and I've heard their spokesperson say it's not true, but I'm saying that it's an important point to address. Because if the person who is your boss owes you,
as I'm sitting here with you, they don't owe us.
But they were owing you.
I am saying they don't owe us. So right now they don't owe us. So if I have even had a conversation with the energy ministry for it to become an impasse, then you should know that you, the average person who owes me, you don't have an excuse anymore.
What percentage of government agencies have prepaid meters?
As we speak, the energy ministry is one.
Okay. For all their offices?
The energy ministry has prepaid meters. So the
exclusive prepaid or some is post?
exclusive
prepaid for all Venice
Yep.
Ministry.
Yep.
What about the MDAs?
Some of MMDAs also have. I'll get you the proper breakdown, but some of the MMDAs have, and some other SOEs also have.
You know why I'm pushing this?
Yeah.
I can't say ahead here and say ahead fatter. So you say technology, dashboard, nice. You introduced prepaid meters long ago, and I think the common sense thing is to do say, look, if you are making losses, there's no way you make loss from us here, because if we don't buy the power, we don't have it. So we are not part of your problem.
Are you sure?
Oh yes.
Because out of it, the people who have the prepaid think we don't have visibility, so we are not able to come to their houses. So they bypass.
No, but that's a
prepaid.
different question. That's stealing. We are talking about people.
I like
yes,
that.
So,
Yes,
so we are talking about if all companies in Ghana are prepaid meters, then the only thing you are dealing with is theft.
That's true.
But if all companies had postpaid meters, they are dealing with not just theft, but also people not paying.
That's correct.
Good. So I'm saying that before you get to all this technology, yada, you could say, look, between 2022 May, which you took over, and by 2024, whatever, all MMDA should be on prepaid meters. And that will significantly reduce this your 5 billion chasing people for money thing. Would it not?
I will agree with you 1,000%.
Good.
But it's also capital intensive.
Why?
We need money to purchase. And this money is not going to come from government. It's going to come from the company itself. So the company also has to look in deep. When I came in, I had those problems with Ghana Airport. I stood firm. I got what was due me. I had the same problem with GBC. Stood firm. Got what was due us. So we are going back out there. We're not going to favor anybody. Look, industry is what is causing us now. When I walk you through the dashboard on one of my very good days of sales, you would realize how industry is not doing what it's supposed to do. Because if even you've not received a bill, let's say even the average Ghanaian hasn't received a bill, you actually have a last bill. So you're supposed to pay on account until finally your meter is read, the reconciliation happens, then you move from there. So what's your excuse for not paying? Because I haven't received a bill? No, that's not good enough.
So you're saying that a lot of the debt is for private sector large scale companies?
Yes.
Who are pretending they don't know they have to pay?
Look, the funny thing is even this. They have meters that are read remotely from our offices. You understand what I mean? So they see what we are seeing, and they could actually equally do estimated bills.
And yet they are not paying.
They're not paying.
So
when you come to residential, that one too, same.
So it seems like the media is very important for this exercise, because almost every time you do this, I see Fred Duho with you. You enter some, and inevitably some shop in industrial area or some factory somewhere. And then you get, why do you need to do it that way? Is it like name and shame kind of thing?
It's not name and shame, but it's more so people don't prioritize the payment of electricity bill. So until they see your presence, they don't prioritize you.
Okay.
Why is it that they are paying taxes?
GRA is wild. So you want to be wild?
If we are not wild, will you pay?
We will buy. If we don't have power, so we buy.
So
and by the way, we've had light off a lot in this couple of weeks. We've been using a generator for
I'll explain to you why.
So help us.
It's our taste in this area. Okay. I could say it was even you. This your company has contributed to it.
Okay.
Forgive me, you're in a residential area. You're running a business. When we put those transformers out there, the 200 kVAs, we expected a certain amount of load.
Okay.
The load has increased.
But there's a lot of commercial entities here. Hotel here.
But that's the truth. All those
commercial here. So it's like the area is already changing. It's not
exactly. So everybody should have realized that since we are citing businesses in this residential, we need to inform.
But that's demand planning with assembly, because there's no way you do a business.
This is distribution.
Yeah, but there's no way, there's no way you're going to do this without the assembly coming to say, hey, you're a commercial entity, pay this, so they can't give you business operating permit. So isn't there a link between what you do and the assembly where they'll say?
Answer that question yourself.
No, but that's the job, right? Because nobody gets up and builds a factory.
I have been in this country.
Nobody gets up and builds. The local government has to tell you.
At the end of the day, I don't want to drop the ball at anybody's doorstep. You are demanding a quality service from me.
Yeah.
Put the problem at my doorstep.
And the service we are paying for it. It's not as if we are coming to Zega and dash us power.
I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Put the problem at my doorstep.
Okay.
Hey, ECG. We have a few businesses and stuff here now. We think our 200 kVA is not going to be good enough. We need.
So is the assembly supposed to do that?
No, you are the customer.
No, but
some people actually come and purchase a dedicated transformer for their business.
Yeah, I know that's possible too.
Yes, so all of these lead to these kind of conversations, and when it becomes overloaded or it gets to a certain time when there's a lot of load at once, you have these trips.
Final points. Usually they say, in fact, PRC said the new tariff for ECG is because we don't want to doom so. So are you promising me that between now and forever there's no more doom so?
My brother, where would doom so come from?
Okay.
Doom so right now will only arise. Will only. And I repeat that. And that is not the case. If there's fuel shortage, or there's gas shortage, you understand?
So production
side, we have excess capacity.
Wonderful.
Now we are selling to Ivory Coast.
Good.
And we are selling to Burkina Faso, and we are selling to Togo. We have that much excess to the extent that
we have more power than we need.
Yeah, so we need to intensify the export market, bearing in mind carefully that 3-4 years down the line, we have to double our capacity because our consumption is increasing.
Samuel Dubik Mahama speaks quite strictly about what he wants to do at ECG. We will monitor this revenue collection business, and of course, as media, we'll report how it goes. Thank you for being on the show. We wish you well. And thank you for watching. This has been an exclusive interview with him. He's been talking everywhere, but at least we wanted to put him here to answer specific questions from us as well. Please pay your electricity bill so that the company can get money to work. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.